Greetings in the name of the Lord, and God bless you. I'm going to read from Psalms 99, and I entitled this Angelic Ministry. And the reading goes out of the King James Version. The Lord reigns, let the people tremble. He sits between the cherubim, let the earth be moved. The Lord is great in Zion, and he is high above all the people. Let them praise thy great and terrible name, for it is holy. The king's strength also loves judgment. Thou dost establish equity, thou executes judgment and righteousness in Jacob. Exalt you the Lord our God, and worship at his footstool, for he is holy. Moses and Aaron among the priests, and Samuel among them that call upon his name, they called upon the Lord, and he answered them. He spoke unto them in the cloudy pillar. They kept his testimonies and the ordinances that he gave them. Thou answerest them, O Lord our God. Thou wast a God that forgavest them, though thou tookest vengeance of their inventions. Exalt the Lord our God and worship at his holy hill, for the Lord our God is holy. It says in verse 1 that the Lord reigns, let all the people tremble. He sits between the cherubim, let the earth be moved. And that's interesting because in the tabernacle, God had them construct a mercy seat that he was to dwell in between two cherubims, which are basically guardian angels, and that their wings were made so that they would overstretch the covering of the mercy seat where God would be in between the two of them. And I think that's interesting because he had Moses and Aaron is mentioned here, and so he's instructing Moses and Aaron to do this, to build this and put it in the temple. And what's interesting is that in Matthew chapter 25, verse 31, we have this. It's the second advent, and Christ is coming back, and it says when he comes back, he's coming back surrounded by all of his holy angels with him, as he establishes his throne here on earth to judge off of his throne. And in Revelations chapter 5, verses 11 through 12, the scriptures tells us that in worship up in heaven, there are millions upon millions of 10,000s and 10,000s upon millions of angels that surround his throne. And it's meant for a guardian protection. Not that God needs that, but it's his allowance of his creation to serve him in that capacity. What an honor to defend the Lord. What an honor to fight for God. What an honor to march for him. But guarding. When Adam fell, we see that God had sent cherubim to guard the way to the tree of good and the tree of life, so that they couldn't get back to that and live forever living in sin. So God has guardian positions that he uses his angels for. They're called cherubim, and God uses them. And they are meant to just make sure that God's protected, God is reverenced, and so that God can do his work. And he works among his angels. He works. What I found interesting is that he also calls Samuel when he calls to him out from between the two cherubim from the mercy seat into his ministry, so that Samuel's ministry launches from that calling that God out of what God calls from between the two cherubim. Very interesting. But on the other hand, we need to be careful, because Revelations 22 verses 8 through 9 and Hebrews 1:6, if you put those together, we are not to worship angels, but angels are to worship God. And in Hebrews chapter 1, 13 through 14, as far as we're concerned, angels' primary purpose is to minister to us who shall inherit eternal salvation, so that they guard, they protect, they watch over, they lead, they guide, they do so many things. And that's just angels in general. But cherubim, they have a higher calling of just making sure that God and the things of God are protected and kept. Thank you.